Let's talk electrical.
Face to face, now the real matters. We dey talk with the young things for the touch.
Let's talk electrical with OJM Electricals. It's a very lovely afternoon again today here on FaceToface TV as we come your way to discuss something that is very, very spectacular, something that will be helpful to you, something that will be beneficial to everyone who is viewing us at this time, and that is the program tagged Let's Talk Electrical. And this is designed to address some of the misconceptions that people have over electrical issues. But I don't want to dive into it because I have someone who is seasoned, who is well prepared, who is well equipped, who is well experienced. In fact, whatsoever thing you talk about in the electrical industry, that is what he presents. And he is known as the electrical grand master, engineer Ogbonnaya of OJM Electricals is here live in the studio. Sir, please, you may wish to greet the audience.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening. Good evening, wherever you are listening to us from. My name is Ogbonnaya. I'm popularly known as the Electrical Grandmaster, and today we are just about bringing clarity to electrical misconception, which is on the platform of Let's Talk Electricals.
Thank you so very much. And today is the beginning of this program. It's going to be a series that will be running, coming your way every Wednesday by 3 p.m. So always get ready for us here on FaceToface as we talk electrical. Please tell us a few things we need to be expecting during this series.
Okay, so today's topic actually highlights several mistakes that electrical customers make while embarking on electrical projects. So today's topic or today's series is going to highlight those mistakes and possible solutions. Because when we talk about a problem without a solution, it looks as if we are just trying to present a problem without telling you probably how you can organize around it to solve it. So we are going to be having in-depth conversations on those integral issues that concerns you as an electrical customer while embarking on any electrical project. So we are going to, just expect a whole lot. We are going to touch all several key areas. Some might be controversial, while some will just be those things you have actually have as a wish that should actually be a change in the electrical industry. So that's probably basically what you should be expecting.
Before we go into today's topic, I want you to also walk us through some other expectations we'll be having during this series. Today we are going to address the mistakes that people normally make, customers make. So after that, subsequently, what does it look like? What areas are you going to touch, during this series?
Okay, so during this series, we are going to be looking at DIY. More recently, we are seeing that most customers that have electrical emergencies will actually want to do one or few things about it. And we all can actually attest to the fact that getting an electrical practitioner, not just any kind of electrical practitioner, professional electrical practitioners, is very, very difficult, right? There is one particular question we used to ask. What do you do when you need an electrician? Do you ask your friend? Do you ask your neighbor? Do you call your friend? Or do you go out to look for one? So this is a very big issue as it concerns to the issues electrical customers face when they have an electrical emergency. So we are going to be talking about during this series, we are going to be looking at DIY, just three simple troubleshoots that is not actually difficult or probably dangerous as we speculate. And then we also as well be looking at demystifying some myths and misconceptions that you have for the electrical industry. Also as well, how to probably go about spotting original materials. If probably you want to carry out little electrical procurement by yourself, and also how to actually get to know who is a qualified electrical practitioner to handle your project. So these are just a few things.
These are minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Some of the things we're going to be looking at. Will we also do some sort of practicals?
Yes, definitely. It will encompass some practical practice that are abound in the electrical industry. I know most people are skeptical on how to change the electrical bulb, even how to change them sockets, change switches, or probably even the extension cord, or probably if there should be any electrical fire, what are the first things they need to do in order to mitigate?
That's very important.
Yes, that what the first thing they need to do to actually mitigate that. Also, we talk about electrical safety, talk about DIY, and then talk about the practical.
In the face of electrical danger, what you need to do. These are some of the things you're going to get here for free. So my friends, everyone who is watching us today, why won't you draw closer to your device by 3 p.m. every Wednesday here on Face to Face? You are going to have the OJM Electrical Grandmaster, always handy to address these issues at minimum. So you can see that it's well loaded, and the series is going to continue until you learn how to do it yourself, until you come out of these misconceptions, until you know the right practice to do when it comes to electrical issues. Thank you so very much. So let's go into today's topic proper. We're going to talking about 5 mistakes electrical customers make that could be more expensive. 5 mistakes electrical customers make that could be more expensive. So OJM, the electrical grandmaster. Okay, you may take us from here. So what do you have to tell us? What are the mistakes? How do we avoid them? Thank you very much.
Okay, so when it comes to electrical projects, there are several things that actually comes into like parts and parts before you take an electrical project from the conception to the finishing, which is the execution. So those things surround around the practitioner or the professional to handle your project, the materials being used for the project, payment at the concept for good for the labor and for the materials, sporting good and quality materials to use for your project, and then lastly, probably if there should be anything you should do as it concerns to galvanizing around your electrical maintenance or whatsoever. So there are lots of mistakes that stands as a cues in these particular processes. Number one is like hiring a quack. So the professional is the first person.
Sorry, who is a quack?
Okay, a quack. I mean, this word is actually being coined out from the medical and practice.
Okay.
So a quack is actually an unprofessional or unqualified person.
All right.
That tends to present him or herself as professional or qualified to handle any probably project or whatsoever concerns the service industry, right? So it's a person that thinks, not that thinks, himself or him or herself actually knows that, oh, I'm not qualified to do this, but they present themselves supposed to be qualified to handle that.
There is this kid that I watched, where somebody would be asked, please, I need an electrician, and somebody who was dressed in maybe a tailor just dropped his tape, his scissors, and everything. I said, I can do it. And he saddled himself with what is this thing, the belt, and just rushed down to. Before you know it, there was a very big spark, and the whole place caught fire. Wow. So, see, I think in this industry, for me personally, I have noticed that there are a whole lot of quacks as we are using it here. So, how do I spot a quack?
Okay, spotting a quack in this industry is very, very difficult, because I would say that even the customers are part of the reason why we have enormous or numerous quacks in the industry, right? So a typical example is a customer might reach out to us and say, OJM, I have this solar installation project. How much is it going to cost me to deliver this project? And then we say, okay, we can't just give you a quote if you don't come for an oversight or inspection.
Yeah.
They say, no, there is somebody I will just call on phone now, and the person will and you guys are not serious. All the person went and then called another person. What are they expecting? They are expecting magic. There's one particular quote I actually used to say, countless of times. I used to say, diagnosis, prescription without diagnosis is a fraud. So you are prescribing a solution without diagnosing the problem.
Yeah.
That means I'm trying to be fraudulent here. Before I can actually prescribe and say, okay, this is actually how much it's going to cost you to deliver this product.
Because it is either you overcharge,
yes,
or you undercharge. And when you undercharge, you're going to cut corners to make sure that
substandard comes in, right? So they usually need that words just handy. That's what we call them bespoke services. If you need bespoke, personalized, or customized services, it's not going to come over the call. We need to come for an inspection and oversight in your place too. Make sure that we give you a proper design and a proper estimate for that your project. But most customers encourages this quacks by not allowing the due processes. So a quack is how you can actually spot a quack in the electrical industry is through this means. Because somebody over there is nothing to justify giving a quote over a phone call without carrying out an oversight or inspection. Professionally is wrong. You must first need to understand what the issue is, because you won't tell me it's a 2-bedroom apartment. We have several 2-bedroom apartments. Even going from my analogy, if you say, look, I have 2-bedroom apartment, what's the solar capacity that can actually carry my home? In my own home, I don't have television. You have television. I might have an inverter refrigerator. Yes, I have an inverter refrigerator. You might have the normal refrigerator. So the power ratings are different. For me to actually be able to say, okay, this is actually a design that can be able to carry your home, I need to come and do it myself. I need to come and inspect it. I even need to come and take measurements of the cable. I need to come and look at the angle of the panels, shading, all those considerations that actually are bound before you embark on any solar installation project. I need to come and do that. But if I just give you a quote over the phone call, that means that's the number one cue of actually identifying a quack. Number two is actually they are overly fast. What I mean by that is that
ambitious.
Yes, too ambitious and overzealous. Yeah. Like they just called you. You just called them on phone. Okay, I need so project to be done. When can you be probably available for this project? Can we just do it? No. I can do it. No.
Just like that skit I told you.
So no. Even once you drop the call, they will call you. Yeah. No, that's unprofessional. I'm not the one that had the problem. You are the one that had the problem. If you need a solution, you come to me.
Yeah. I
will solve that problem for you. And not me going back to you again. That's how to spot them. They're always over ambitious, overzealous, just quick. That's actually following due processes. Number 3 way of actually spotting an electrical quack is probably if they give you a price without a brand name. So that means they want to supply anything. From the section of OJM Electricals company, we have a column in our estimation booklet for brand. Why do we do that? Even if we don't buy, you can buy with the brand name. And then one of our mantra is that inform anybody you are buying from. If the person supplies nothing less than this brand, or the inferior of this brand, it's going to be returned to him or her wherever you bought it from. So that has been our mantra in OJM Electricals. So when somebody gives you a quote without a brand name, the person is trying to scam you, and the person is unqualified to handle your project, right? And then lastly is probably the kind of pricing they give. Most customer doesn't really understand this. Let me give you an example. I wrote a book titled How to Quantify Any Project. It's going to be in print by next week. So it's already, we have been selling for over 3 years now. Now, what that book actually connotes is what electrical practitioners should actually consider while embarking on any electrical project. So what that means is that I want to handle your project. What are the expenses I'm going to incur while embarking on your project? Number one, feeding must be incurred. Because an expense, that's an overhead cost. You cannot cut corner, right? Logistics must be involved. There must be movement, displacement from my office to your place. Yeah. So logistics must be involved. Then service charge must be involved. If probably the project is something I need to hire somebody to come in, how much am I going to pay the person? If it's a project that is going to take more than 1 day, accommodation must be involved. Exactly. Then if it's a project that needs some special tools, those tooling systems or tool cells must be involved. So if I don't pinpoint or add this and this to be able to say Adding all these expenses together, this is how much I'm going to charge you for this project. That means I'm not being truthful to myself, or I'm trying to find a way to make money from that project by not the legal means, which is giving you my service charge, and then we bargain on that service charge. Probably if you invite me to probably give you a quote for a project and I give you my service charge and say it's 500K, I've already added those considerations and those contingencies, right? Then somebody who is charging lesser than me may not have actually considered those things.
Yeah.
Then if you have if you actually noticed that there are some projects that has been suspended, people have come and absconded, and so on and so forth, this is actually what caused it. They undercharged. And then they were thinking probably they will tell you to go and buy the materials from their way, get the money from there. And it didn't happen that way. Or you follow them down to where they are buying, or whatever, and that their intentions really happen. With the price or with the quote that they came up with, cannot actually deliver that project. One thing they will be doing to your project is they won't be consistent with your project. They will come today, tomorrow they won't come. If you call them, they will say, that money wasn't enough, so I'm going to go and make some more money to come and continue with your project. And that's actually what you'll be noticing until you start locking the person up in the police station.
And by that time, you're spending more, your job is being delayed, your emotion is affected, and a whole lot of disappointments. So guys, it is very good that you try as much as possible to avoid contracting a part to do your job. All right, let me assume I want you to fix this studio for me, electrically.
Yeah.
Is it advisable that I go and buy materials by myself, or you buy for me?
Okay, so procurement is in two ways. Now, I will always advise, leave the professional to procure. The reason why I always advise that, I have a code that says,
because my hand cannot buy original.
No.
So this is my own money cannot buy original. Why?
No, due to you're not electrically inclined.
Okay.
So many things can go wrong. So many things can go wrong. One of the things that can go wrong is that the vendor can actually deceive you into buying the thing that is not being recommended, right? And then you might actually run the risk of there are several things that might go wrong. You might be deceived, you might be cheated on that process, and also you might probably buy the wrong materials. And when we use it for a project, it can actually cause an issue. Notwithstanding, for what I said at the initial, which is we used to add a brand name, meaning that for our customers to procure, they don't run those risks. But if probably an electrician gave you a quote of materials without any brand name, you rush to the market, you start going to buy rubbish and then come back. At the end of the day, you fall back to both you losing your money and both to the professional telling you that he doesn't know what he's doing when something goes south, right? So procurement is in two ways. If probably me, you want to run your procurement yourself from our company, not only will give you a brand name to buy, we can also as well recommend them a vendor that you can buy from, right? You can make your search on the prices, inquiries on the pricing or whatever, but we just give you make recommendations on who you can actually buy from that will trust to give you the best product.
Okay, how can I spot an inferior product? Or how can I differentiate between the fake products and original?
Okay, it is even for us, the practitioners, it's quite very, very dicey. Because one of the things is that we have a standard organization of Nigeria which oversee most of the quality or standards of products. And then we have MANCA, which is also an agency that oversees the quality of products in the market. But we won't actually acknowledge the fact that there are among 12 disciples somebody using the wrong thing. So most of these some agencies come to a place they are selling them the bad materials, and due to that collected something they can overlook. And that actually saturated our market with inferior materials, right? So for you to spot the original material, it is very, very difficult. But one of the ways to actually go about that is by seeking for warranties or guarantees. So I'm buying these materials from you. What are the warranties or guarantees you are giving me on these products? Not only...
And that shouldn't be...
not in proclamation.
Yeah,
it should be written, signed, whatever, then before you can...
So that it will be a point.
Yes. A customer called us from Holland and said, I want to, no, not Holland, Germany. I said them, I want you guys to handle my solar installation project. There was a company I reached out to, they said they are not going to give me a warranty. Are you guys going to give me a warranty? I said yes. He said, okay, how will you convince me that that warranty is effective or it's actually genuine?
It's binding.
It's binding. I said, not only that we are going to sign it, also the company we are partnering with, like Felicity, I don't want to mention brands, but we're giving them recommendation, probably advertising for them. So the brand we are partnering with, we have a 1-year warranty on all products. Products we buy from them, meaning that if anything happens to that product, we just pick it, return back to them, they give us another one, we'll come and install for you. So it is not only binding between you and us, it's also binding between us and the company we are buying from. So these are the guys. So spotting a bad product or an inferior product is very, very difficult. But one of the ways to go about it is by requesting for guarantees and warranties on the products. It should be signed. The number 2 is actually from what I said at the initial, which is the brand name also. Like there's one brand name in Kevlin, I'm not going to mention their name. But yes, they need to call me for Ambassadorian.
No problem, well, as time goes on, all these big companies will still locate you.
Yes, so I'm not going to mention the name, but their pricing doesn't change. Their quality doesn't change. Others might cut corners, whatever, but them, no. And we normally use them for government projects. So when you buy from...
I could remember when I was small, there was this radio program, before you hear it, they were talking. I don't want to mention them.
No, don't mention them. Don't mention them.
Right.
So their
but
quality...
whoever that understands what I'm saying, they know it that way. So
their quality doesn't change. These are people that, just like... road construction, their standard doesn't change. Just like what we are saying in Abia State now. The road they are building, you can see the difference between what others have done and what they are doing. So this brand, if you recommend it for you, when you are buying, you are sure of buying 100% on quality.
Does small shop or big shop guarantee fake or original? Because see, there is this mentality. I'm trying to picture what used to run into our minds.
Okay.
If I enter into hospital group now, for instance, and I look at the size of the shops, I get in there. Then if I see 100% who is in the container, I may not buy from there. Since I have gone into the market, I will try to buy from these big shops. So does it guarantee, fake or original?
That just reminded me about something. In May 2019, I've been called IEC in hospital. So IEC represents International Electrotechnical Commission.
Okay.
So what that means is actually a standard, a code of let me just in the layman's terms, probably a standard laid down for electrical products and services in the international space, not only in Nigeria. Nigeria is in the International Electrical Commission. So, but in the reason why I'm being called IEC is because I always want to effect standards in whatever that is being done. So just driving towards what you said about big shops and small shops. Most of those big shops on Hospital Road, sun comes there to run them up. Due to they are selling inferior materials.
I know why I asked this question. Not personally for myself, because I know that many people out there will still parade with this same mentality.
Yes.
I guess, but go ahead.
Yes, it's actually a mentality that is ravaging the whole electrical industry. And also, most of these people that have big shops are using it as a plot or probably a means to probably perpetrate evil. Probably as you're seeing them as a big shop, you're thinking that whatever you're going there to buy is original. In as much as you can't ignore the fact that there are still people that are doing the right thing, but big shop doesn't equate quality product. There are still some small shop that wants to grow, that is maintaining standard to be able
who are honest.
Yes, who are honest, who has integrity. Like whatever they are telling you, what the product is going to do is what it's going to do. Or even as compared to the counterparts who have a bigger shop than them, right? So it doesn't equate like that, but probably you work with recommendations and reviews whenever you want to buy from any of these, or either the big one or the small ones.
Is there something like Osai?
Yeah, definitely. Every business.
And how do we handle Osai? Because Osai is Chala. Are you getting me? So talk about this.
There is some good importance of those Osai here. Osai kind of bring you closer to what you are looking for. And then when you are in a very good time, so then, no, the reason I'm saying this because I'm not an outside, we have an office,
Yeah,
but I've not done that before
yeah.
anyways. But outside can be released to the affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it can be.
Okay, yes. That is traditional affiliate
marketing, yes. So what they do is there are still good vendors here that will recommend a good product to you. What just happened there is that their own commission is being given to them. Not that they are utterly doing the wrong thing, but there are still some bad eggs in their midst, which means that they will tell them you want to buy original product. They will tell you to where you buy the effect product and the original price, which is very, 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 very bad. But if they are still doing the right thing, that you walk into a market that you don't know anything about, and they can be able to take you from where you are to where you get that thing you are looking for, and it's the quality product. If you're adding 5 naira to purchase that for the quality brand, it doesn't really mean a lot, other than buying the fake product and then going to super for it.
Okay, let me not just go there. One day we are going to handle NOSI particularly.
Yes, definitely.
On that very day, we are going to face NOSI completely. Okay. Because we are even talking about electricals and somehow electronics is also involved. Are you getting me? And when you mention ABA, I don't want to mention that line so that I will not follow on. Are you getting me? Osai, but that's by the way. So let us just take it like that. So you've talked about labor pricing today. Can you tell us more about the proper pricing and how labor should be costed?
Okay, the truth is that the electrical industry is fragmented. Yeah. I would have left the industry long ago because I don't have problem for headaches. My life has always been, following through what I want to do as a person, as how I want to do it. But when you look at the industry that is being saturated with people that are already there to mislead others, you become so very, very disappointed. Now, why I say the electrical industry is fragmented is that there is no price control on the pricing. Pricing differs by the structure of the building, the size of the building, you understand? The features that are found in the building, like there's a project we're doing at Opo here. It's a smart home. If probably you give that project asked for it not to be a smart home system, the price I would have charged you for a normal simple house wiring wouldn't be the same with a smart home house wiring, right? So it differs by the features, the aesthetics, you understand, like this one has a running step light transactions, right? Yeah. But normal duplex doesn't have such a features, right? So it differs by those features. So with that reality, there is no price control, but let's just be realistic. With let me just guide you guys through the process that we take to quantify probably the pricing that you should pay us to handle your project. Now, if we look at your project and it's going to take us 7 days, let's use 7 days as an example. 7 days. 7 days, it will take 4 people to deliver that project in 7 days. Those 4 people will be eating, let's just use the basic, 1,500 naira morning, afternoon, and that's 4,500. Multiply it by 7, you know what the business is going to look like. Then, if I'm paying those people for their labor fee, now in the industry, we are paying up to 10,000 naira they pay, right? Multiply it by 4 in a day, it's 40,000. Multiply it by 7 days, you know how much that is, right? Then you now talk about accommodation. If you're not going to be sleeping over at the site, is there any hotel we can check in? 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, as the case may be. We consider that. Are there any special tools like filing machine, drilling tools, and whatever? Are we going to use generator for wall crackers and the wall graders, right? Or even rotary machines to crack your wall? So if we are going to be using those things, that means fuel is involved, generator is involved, all those things are involved. So when we add those things together, it will now come up to a certain sum. Probably our profits, standardly in the industry is 30% of the whole, total project cost. 30% is what you're supposed to give the practitioner to be able to deliver the project. But sometimes customers don't actually want to go that route. What happens is that when I add the material, the project tools involved, the workforce involved, the feeding involved, the accommodation involved, and whatever, and then at probably 10% of the total project or whatever, you will still find it ambiguous to pay, right? So it is what I would say to be that it is just something that we need to understand. when a service provider or probably electrical service provider tells you, okay, this is actually how much is going. I'm going to take to deliver this project. This is how many days I think this project is going to take to be delivered, and this is the reason why we are charging this much. You should be able to consider that than somebody just telling you, okay, we're collecting such amount of money without putting you through what you want to think about that cost, right? So, but to say that if there is any harmonized way of pricing in Nigeria, there is nothing like that, and that's the reason why I wrote that book, How to Quantify Any Project, so that service providers can read the book and be able to know how to
understand
yes.
what every project entails.
Yes.
In fact, even now, you must be living in a house.
Yes.
Even if you're staying under the bridge, you may want to put an electric bulb.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you getting me?
Definitely.
I've seen some smart guys that we under some bridges. They try to connect the electric bulb there. You understand? Even those small scale business owners who are doing roadside businesses, at night like this, you see them trying to step down lights. Maybe sometime we're going to talk about those precautions. You know, step down lights directly from electric pole, and you're using it right under that your small container of iron. But I cannot stop to buy something from unless if I did not see it. You know, I have this electric phobia.
Yes.
Are you getting me? It is in me. If I see you and I know there are certain, you know, electrical hazards that you've taken. The other day we were traveling and we saw as people, you know, fly wire across a building. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
And that was a naked wire. I was just seeing someone see this kind of risk people are taking. What if that wire cuts or something happens, it slacks and touch that roof? What do you think is going? So there are a whole lot we are going to talk about, but for the sake of this today's topic, let us remain focused. So what is the best way of pricing? You know, yes, we have talked about from the angle of a professional.
Yeah.
Me, who wants to do this project, how can I price you and strike a balance with you, and at the same time, we don't cheat?
Okay. So I think the best way, because one of the things that clients, or one of the core values of OJM Electrical Company is empathy. Empathy talks about putting myself in your shoes, right? And sometimes we kind of underprice, probably from how you approach us, or approach really matters in probably any project you want to embark on. But let's just look at it literally. Now, you bought a materials worth 10 million naira. Is it okay for me to use 100,000 naira to put that thing into place? And also, the contingency also is that if at the process of trying to install that 10 million naira worth of product and I damage anything within there, that's around 500,000, how do I mitigate that risk, or is there any insurance? Because if that electronic spoils, you have to take it back to the person you bought it from, and the person will replace it for you. Just like the brand I was talking about that supplies us electrical solar materials, they added their little warranty, whatever, but we are guaranteed that if anything happens to this thing, we won't have issue with our customers. We just come there, pick it up, go and replace it, and then come back. So on the aspect of us making extra profits from probably adding those contingency costs, it comes in two ways. We might lose and then we might get sometimes.
That's good. That's okay. All right. Let me ask this question.
Okay.
Like I have a project,
Okay.
and my building has been erected. Are you getting me? I want you to fix the electrical aspect of it.
Yeah.
And you're still telling me you're going to run a design again.
Okay.
Going to design it. So is it necessary?
Okay, so from inception of that project, there should be a design. We used to call it electrical.
Yeah. Okay.
From the inception of that, from foundation, there should be a design. What does design do? Design is actually a technical drawing that gives a guideline or a guidance to any electrical practitioner handling your project. It tells you socket will be here, receptacle will be here, switch will be here, lighting will be here, this will be here. And also it takes you, it harmonizes and then explains the scheme of the lighting positioning. Like some people doesn't really know. I cannot just come to this studio and just start putting lights without understanding the purpose of those lighting. We have 3 types of lighting scheme, which are ambient, task, and ascent. So there are some lighting schemes I might actually introduce here. The lighting scheme I will introduce in this your studio is not the same with the one I will introduce in the motel or in the hotel or in the bar.
Don't need this in a hotel.
You see, but most practitioners may not actually know about this.
Yeah.
And the most probably electrical customer doesn't know that there is a design that comes with any project you want to buy. Not only the architectural design or the probably some other technical drawing like the plumbing design or whatever. Electrical design is also possible to should be a prerequisite when you are embarking on that project. Now back to your question. If you have erected your building and there is no design, I want to ask a question here. Is it on DPC level, Intel level, or decking level? Which of the stage is it?
Well, you know, I'm just talking about it. Maybe let's assume the architecture did not, the architect did not give me, did not include the electrical design. Are you getting me? So, and I am just contracting an electrician as well. I'm still talking about another design that is attracting another cost. You understand? So I'm just asking, some of us, we want to run away from cost.
Yes.
So I want you to address the situation.
Okay, it is imperative and very, very important that you have a design. Now, this is it. Although saying this affects my profession, because one of the reason why you need to have a customer is like what we call in business lifetime value of the customer. Meaning that I am not saying you. I don't want to use both vulgar extremely, but like a one night stand. I don't want to just do a service for you and then tomorrow. That is just I want, after doing for you, I do again, right? We still have customers in OJM that we have been selling for 1 year, 7 years, 8 years, and as the case may be. So what that brings about is that when I don't give you an electrical design while doing your project, it makes me the only what I call it a sole signatory or whatever, just sole technician that can handle the troubleshooting of that project. If we involve any external or any external electrician to come and carry out a troubleshoot or even continue the project, if probably we have an issue along the way, the person will now have to start all afresh or destabilize the initial configurations, or doesn't know about to have to organize around the electrical systems, or even alter some few things that are not supposed to be altered in. But if there's supposed to be an electrical drawing, if you have an issue with this person, which I'm not praying for, but things happens at the end of the day, you can just carry that electrical design, give to the new person that is coming to continue from where the old person stops. So it's just like a guideline that brings about, even if I have, probably I traveled out, I get called by the federal government to come and do something that won't make me to be in the domestic space again. I'm not be working at the federal level. And you are calling me to come and complete your project or to come and do your project or whatever. Yes, I'm not talking about it from the angle of being a company, because as a company, we have a structure that can still deliver your project even when I'm not available. I'm looking at it as from probably a sole practitioner that doesn't have anything to organize.
Works almost alone.
Almost alone. So the person gets a contract with the federal government and no more than to deliver your project. You want to go and hire another person. And then what do you now do? Let's even go into more intricate part of it, which means if I'm being hospitalized, or I have an accident, and then I cannot do your project.
Or incapacitated at a point.
I can't do your project again.
Which is quite obvious.
Very, very obvious.
The owner of the contract can fight it. There is nothing you can do. You're seeing it, you're seeing it very clearly to you that this person cannot even climb this thing.
So what will you now do? That means that your project now has a very big issue. Now, calling somebody new to start altering the whole process is going to fall back to you in future, or probably not. So it's very, very important that you have an electrical design for the project.
All right, guys. What we are giving you here is very expensive nuggets that will help you in your various electrical conditions. So take them so seriously and don't fail to reach out to OJM Electrical OJM Electrical, to give you the best advice concerning your electrical services and also provide you with the best quality materials in the market. All right, I have the last question for you. I've been hearing this thing, DIY, do it yourself. What should I do for myself by myself? And what shouldn't I do? What are the limitations? What are my limits when it comes to do it yourself?
Okay.
Just tell us more about do it yourself and the limits one should get to doing it him or herself.
Okay, so I will have to give an illustration. Doing it yourself doesn't only end with the electrical industry. Doing it yourself is that probably I have a torn chassis and I have a sewing machine at home. I want to do it myself, right? I have probably a scratch on my wall and I want to clean it by not calling a cleaning company. You want to pack it into a new house and you want to clean it yourself. You don't want to call them an industrial cleaning company. There are several things that
when I was in school, I painted the house myself.
So you did it yourself.
Of course.
So there are several things that you can do yourself. But because when you are hiring an electrical practitioner, you must incur cost and expenses. And you wouldn't want to pay for it. We got a call at the office the other day and said, please, am I speaking to OJM Electrical Company? I said yes. My socket, I need to change my socket. How much is it going to cost me to change that? I've already bought the socket. We said 10,000 naira. So that's too much. I said, we are sorry, for us to leave our office to come there, do it and go back to the office. For us to leave the office only is 10,000 naira. Then you will find it difficult to pay 10,000 naira. But if you know how to change that socket, you don't need us. You don't need to call us. You can just follow the procedures I'm going to enumerate to carry out that particular electrical maintenance. And then put back your 10,000 into your pocket. Buy the simple electrical tools and then carry out that simple troubleshoot and then do it yourself, right? So doing it yourself is in the electrical space. Okay. So doing it yourself in the electrical space, there are limitations as well. Quite enormous limitation. Now look at what I usually used to say. Which most customers find them very, very funny. I usually used to say, electricity is hazardous and can be fatal if not handled by a competent electrician. In as much as doing it yourself is a general practice in every industry, just remember that you are playing with life and death. I've been electrocuted before. I saw stars. I got blind for 20 minutes. That's how dangerous it was. I got blind for 20 minutes, standing at home.
What was the voltage?
It's actually a low voltage, about 220 volts. What I was holding to the two wires, both the neutral and the line, and then the thing just drained me in milliseconds. So it just shut down my two eyeballs. For 20 seconds, I didn't see. So when we talk about electricity, I'm an electrician, I'm telling you it's very, very dangerous. That it can dry you, can drain.
And you're still telling me to do it myself?
Yes, it's so I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about
to buy me,
I'm going to talk about the electrical safeties and how you can actually go about doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Now, don't be afraid of electricity. Just be cautious. Doing it yourself, there are several things you can actually do yourself. One of them is changing your light bulb. Number two is changing your socket. Your switches, you can change your switches. You can change probably a breaker. Yes.
Change a switch when there is light or when there's no light.
Yes, I'm going to talk about how to do that.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what you can really do yourself.
Because for you to change the switch, I know that wire must come out and you don't use it and put in the other one. Okay. That's where the problem comes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a solution to that as well. So you can change your switch, you can change your light bulb, you can change your breaker, you can change your sockets, right? Now, how do you do it yourself? What is the best practice of doing it yourself? Now, electricity cannot shock you if it's not present. Let me come again. Electricity cannot electrocute you if it's not present. Just like the wild days that I said, so how do you make electricity not be present? By shutting it off. We have contact fuse, we have changeover, we have breakers. So once those things are off, don't be afraid again. You have shut down both the live and the neutral of what supplied power to your home. But what you just need to do is to first of all identify that those are the things you are trying to pull out. But the most common is just the changeover. Once you put your changeover at neutral, you disconnected everything. So there is nothing like electrocuting whatever that comes to you again. Second thing you can do is to go to your meter and shut off that breaker again. We have ELCB, we have ROCCB, we have ROCB, and the miniature circuit breakers. So you can go to the isolator there and pull it off. We have disconnected both the live and the neutral.
Life and death.
Yeah, disconnected everything. There is nothing that will make, unless the contingency is that, because I'm going to talk about most of the experiences I've actually had. When I have disconnected that, and without actually putting a barrier in the electrical safety industry, in the electrical safety training course or whatever, we used to call it LOTO, log out, tag out. So what I did was log out. I didn't tag out. Log out is probably switching off putting the changeover and the neutral. Tagging out is that I didn't put anything that would obstruct anybody from putting it back on while I'm still working. So log out, tag out is actually a safety electrical practice that
because it might happen that you're working at the other side and somebody comes in and says, oh, there is light on, this light is not on, and it doesn't turn.
It happened to me. Oh, it happened to me that when I was still starting in the electrical industry, so I went to carry out a troubleshoot. I asked the client, oh, they are not going to bring light today. I said, no, they are not going to bring light today. Today I will get on and they are still doing rush on them.
Yeah.
Today I will get on. And then I just put the changeover and neutral and just started working. His child came back from school. Daddy, Uncle did not still in charge. Uncle didn't know light. So Daddy, there is light in our street. And we don't have light at all. I was still hearing that, thinking that his father would not tell him no. Somebody is working.
Somebody, you know this excitement when light comes now.
You know, during that time,
yeah.
light is like would I call it something very, very enticing then. You don't have a season.
You need it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, definitely.
You need it tomorrow.
Definitely. So it was something like really comes with excitement.
In some areas now, one like on the city,
yes, everybody rushes. Everyone rushes. So that's how the person just put down the changeover. And the rest was history. I just felt like a BDJ. So, and that was it. They started bringing more and milk. So I understood that.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. What I'm making now.
No, I saw stars. I was trying to get stars from by drinking water and milk. So when I fell down there, so what I understood from that particular experience is that don't only log out, tag out as well. So what I mean by that is that after putting up the changeover,
put an obstruction.
Put something that will deter somebody from trying to put back that thing on. One of the things we do, if it's supposed to be in the industrial space, we use key to lock it up. So when we put key and lock it up, we can't do any other thing until we come and then open it again. So we can pull out the contact fuse, we used to call it contact fuse or fuse and base.
Yeah.
Once you pull it out, put it inside your bag. Don't pull it out and then keep it at where somebody will see it. Somebody can still collect it and pull back.
Yeah.
So put it out, insert it into your pocket. Just make sure that
you're in control.
Yes, you're in control of what is going to happen to you. So when we say log out, you just log out and you tag out. That's the first step of carrying out any electrical maintenance or doing it yourself actually. Yeah. So log out, tag out, number one. Then number two, go to your distribution board. Make sure we have the mains breaker and the miniature circuit breakers. The mains breaker is called an isolator. It's usually red in color. Just pull it up. Once you hear pa, it's up. Then look at the other breakers that are there. We have a single phase breaker, a single phase control switch, and then we have 3-phase control switches. If it's 3-phase control switches, it's always vertical. If it's single phase control switch, it's horizontal. So if it's the horizontal one, turn off the whole breaker there. If it's actually the vertical one, turn off the whole breaker there. You are safe to do anything you want to do. Then apart from that, wear your safety glove. Yes, you've turned off, done that, something can still happen. Just make sure that you're not calling your village people in. So wear your safety gloves.
Safety glove. Am I an electrician?
You need to buy it. You don't have to do it yourself, you need to get it. Because as an electrical producer, I'm a safety officer.
Yeah.
Not only I need HS 1, 2, 3. I also need industrial safety. So if as a safety officer or as an electrical practitioner, I'm doing your project without hand glove, that means that my certificate or my license can be put out. Yes, can be withdrawn. Yeah, they can withdraw my license. So even you that is not an electrical practitioner, if you want to do anything electrically related, you must make sure that you are fully kitted to carry out that particular practice. For example, for those who does to check your BP at all, you don't check your BP by just saying I'm checking my BP. You buy the apparatus. So doing it yourself electrical, you need to buy the apparatus to be able to do it yourself. Not only buy screwdriver, plier, and whatsoever. You need to also buy the PPE, we call it personal protective equipment, to be able to carry out that troubleshoot professionally, right? Then you wear your safety boots. Now, let me say this, I've been keeping it as a secret, right? But the general public needs to know that once you disconnect your feet from the ground, you have already protected yourself 50% from getting electrocuted. Let me repeat myself again.
So where will you stand?
Once you wear boots, and this my shop is an insulator.
Okay, yeah.
Insulators are ones that doesn't allow the easy flow of electrical current, while conductors are materials that allow the easy flow of current. Now, funny enough, if my leg is on the floor, direct floor, yes, a human being is an electrical conductor, so you can get electrocuted by that. So, but once you just protect your feet and protect your hand from touching the wall or whatever, 50% you are protected. So that is why that protective equipment is very, very important. So wear your safety boot, wear your hand glove, and turn off the whole whatever. Carry on with your troubleshoot.
Oh my God! All right, you have really told us a whole lot today, and all that we have to say cannot be exhausted. Only today. Just like I told us when we started, this is going to be a series that will run to be coming your way every Wednesday by 3 p.m. So for those of you who have been listening to us, or those who are going to see our videos later, if you have any question, please do well to contact OJM Electrical. Please could you kindly provide your contact information to our listeners?
Okay, so our hotline, as we call it in OJM, is 081 09 49 48 05. Let me take it again. 081 09 49 48 05. So if you don't want to call us, you can text us through SMS or you can WhatsApp us. So this line serves for both calling, texting, and WhatsApping. We don't have any other number.
Thank you so very much. See you 3 p.m. Wednesday next week. Thank you and God bless you.
Face to face.